with this week, actually just last night, is they announced updates to the Model S and the S. Basically, they're redoing the entire drivetrain and battery system for those two cars. They're older technology. They're not the same as the Model 3. And they want to bring that to those two models because of a couple of reasons. One, it's going to save them money. It really is. It's going to save them money because they're going to save so much by using similar motors and similar batteries as the Model 3, which is already mass produced. So that would definitely help. Another thing is that they're switching to the same style motors, of course, but the rear motor will have essentially the same motor as now. Basically, it's an induction motor that's in the back. And then they have the newer style permanent magnet. It's switched, or they call it synchronous reluctance motor in the front. So that permanent magnet motor in the front and the inductance motor, which is your traditional AC motor in the back, basically you have a smaller motor in the front, a larger one in the back, but because of the difference in the technology of that front motor, it can afford to be smaller because it's actually more efficient. It's able to use less power to be able to give you the same amount of performance, if not better. And that's why they're switching to it. So, along with that, as well as some upgrades to the battery system, they're going to go and extend the range of the Model S and the S. Essentially, 370 miles is the range of the new long-range Model S. If you want a Model X, the SUV is going to be 325, which is more than the long-range Model 3. Look how large that vehicle is. It's not an efficient vehicle as it is now, but with the motors and the batteries that they're using today, you can order it with these options today. You'll be able to get that larger range with the same 100 kilowatt hour battery. It's essentially the same battery pack. I'm not sure if they changed styles to the Model 3 style cells, but it's a 100 kilowatt hour pack, and they're able to get much more mileage and range out of that pack with the change in the motor, as well as the change in how efficient the battery system is. Now, along with the battery system itself, one major announcement that they also added on top of this was that the newer Model S and S will be able to charge up to 200 kilowatt on a supercharger with the version 3 supercharger. So the Model 3 currently, once it's enabled and there's more version 3 superchargers out there, will be able to get up to about 250 kilowatt. This will be able to go up to 200 kilowatt with the current battery pack. But just updates to the battery system and battery management. So that's actually pretty fast. Right now, most vehicles can only get up to 110 or 118 kilowatt max. Same with my Model 3 right now. I plug in, even a low state of charge, it ramps up. I get about 118 kilowatt. So that's practically, I mean, it's not quite double, but think of it as double the charge speed on the same battery pack. That's incredible. So now with the current version 2 superchargers that we have now, they're going to be updating those. It's just a software change to the cars. Each one will be able to go up to 145 kilowatt. So you're going to get another, 20 some kilowatt. Now they'll shave off, 10, 15 minutes of time to go from, 10% up to 90. So that's awesome. With the version 3 superchargers, it's going to go even faster, and like I said, basically about 50% more, or 50% less time sitting there, charging in the newer cars that they're making right now, that you can order. So that's awesome. Another thing with the change in motors is they changed the drive train, the drive system as well. So with that, they've updated the air suspension, the air ride, in the Model S and the S. So it's a fully adaptive system that will be able to sense the road and be able to give more cushion per front and back, and be able to adjust the height of the car dynamically, front to back and everything, much better than the current air ride, which is very nice as it is. I've ridden and driven a Model S that was practically brand new as a loaner when I was having this Model 3 service for some slight issues I had. They do happen. And I enjoyed the ride. It felt like a very premium, high-class car. The air ride definitely does smooth out all the bumps, and it's only going to get better with this next update. So this is also going to allow more performance, like with the performance version, the Model S and the S, as far as cornering and handling. So I don't know what other updates they could do, but my guess is they could probably update a lot more. And with the changes that they made to the Model 3 with the performance version with track mode, I can see that coming. That's something that Tesla didn't just make just for the Model 3. They'll eventually add that. They haven't yet, but this is the first step that they needed to do to be able to get track mode enabled, with the air suspension that they have. And that's standard. The dual motors with the S and the S are also standard. You don't get a single motor with either one of those vehicles. And to me, I think that's an awesome thing, because you do get the speed, you get the efficiency of both motors, and honestly, I think it's safer too, because you have, basically all-wheel drive grip, for whatever situation you're driving in. So another thing that they didn't say, but I noticed, when I went to go and take a look at the new Model S stats, as far as their range, the performance, and everything, the standard range Model S, dual motor, that's standard, will actually get a lower or faster 0 to 60 time than even the long range Model 3. So comparing a dual motor car to another dual motor car, non-performance, the long range battery, which is for the Model 3 about 75 to 80 kilowatt, it's probably like more like 80 to 90 kilowatt, but because they have overhead. But the 100 kilowatt hour pack, 7 to 80 kilowatt hour. The 100 kilowatt hour pack that they have in the Model S and X, that compared to this car, the Model 3 dual motor non-performance, is actually faster. So when they increase the battery capacity beyond 100 kilowatt hour, and they happen to have the ludicrous mode and everything else, it's just going to be a super fast car. The performance version will be faster than the Model 3, just as before the Model 3 performance. And of course there's the ludicrous mode, which they're actually giving away ludicrous mode to anyone that owned a Model S or X before and they're buying a new one. That's a $20,000 upgrade for that ludicrous mode, for that extra speed that you don't get unless you buy that extra package. So Tesla's announced a lot just within the last couple of days, and it's all awesome stuff. I can't really say too much more. Tesla's going to improve on this car just as much as what they're going to improve on the S and the X. They did not announce anything as far as the interior, if that's all changing. My guess is that won't happen until either late this year or next year. As far as updated displays, the new vent system, getting that into that car, or if they're even going to. My guess is they're going to make small improvements. They're probably going to take the air conditioning system that they have in the Model 3, make it larger for the S and the X. That's the biggest thing, is they have the biodefense mode on those vehicles, so they want to have that larger system, but also make it less power hungry. So right now they have some other system in place, but the one that they built themselves is in this Model 3. They'll eventually move that into the other cars, and they're making constant improvements. So this is a really long video. If you happen to sit along with me, I want to thank you so much. I know it's just been a lot of my rambling about what's going on, but I wanted just to go through and touch on these things because Tesla's always improving, and in another 2 years from now, the Model Y will be in full production mode. And even though it's based on the Model 3, there's going to be a lot of improvements on that than what we're seeing today. So, in my opinion, I have no idea, but my guess is by the time the Model Y comes out, the right-hand drive vehicles for the Model 3 are going to be coming out probably summer. I would say late summer to fall is probably when they're going to add air suspension to the Model 3. And they'll probably have that on the Model Y from the start. That's my prediction. I might be completely wrong, but my guess is with the Model 3, if you want the air suspension, it's only going to be on either the long-range dual motor or the performance. If you get the standard range or the standard plus, which is what they're mostly pushing on right now, that's it. Yeah, I mean, you won't get that. That's an extra feature. So those are my predictions. That's what I see in the future. That's what Tesla's doing.